Guys, this is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I just wanted to talk about how I manifest my shiz. So how I manifest, well, basically everything that I want. And the reason that I am filming in my dining room is because it's pretty warm today, so I thought I would come downstairs, and if I'm sitting on the Saltillo tile, it's a lot cooler. Plus, I was kind of hoping you guys might be able to see Loki, so he's actually on the floor over here. Let's take a look-ski. Loki! Yes, so involved in your cleaning process. Giant panther. Woo. To me, manifesting is pretty simple. Not to say that things come quickly, not that part, but the part where like what I do to try and manifest the things that I want. So everybody knows that I'm a witchy woo, you know, but I've always had such, like, I guess you could say a crazy imagination, like ever since I was a little kid, and I never thought of anything as impossible until maybe I got a little bit older, and you know, people are telling you things are impossible, but actually, well, maybe that's more of a learned trait, because when I was little, I didn't really have that rah, 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 like go team go, you know, parents or, you know, people like that who were like, hey, you can do anything you want and the sky is the limit, reach for the stars. Like, I didn't have any of that. There's the, this is gonna be your life, and if you want something, you're gonna have to marry rich, honey, you know, so. And I'm like, oh, no, no, you know, and I was always told this is how your life is going to be, and you are limited to this, and you are limited to this. And, you know, I even had somebody in my family that tell me that I cognitively can't do certain things because I'm a girl. So yeah, I grew up with a lot of that. And so the reason I'm making this video is because I recently acquired something that I've been trying to manifest for a really long time. And you know, sometimes people may become frustrated because you're trying to manifest something and it's taking what seems like forever. Like, well, I've been trying to manifest this for the past 3 weeks and it hasn't happened yet, or I've been trying to do this for a year and it hasn't happened yet. So let me just take you on my manifesting journey by starting off with, like, what do I do to manifest? This wasn't something that I sat down and said, this is how I manifest. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. This all just kind of came naturally to me. And so maybe the way I manifest isn't going to be the way everybody else manifests, but I figure, you know, if you're somebody who's like, I'm just looking for a new way to try to reach my goals and achieve my dreams, then maybe you can take some of like what I've been doing. When I was younger, there were like, little kid, like we're talking like 4 and 5. There were things that I wanted in life, and I used to draw pictures of them all the time. And since I was kind of, I mean, I had friends and things like that, but if I wasn't playing with my friends and I was at home, and I wasn't playing with my baby brother who's 6 years younger than me, so you know, at 4 and 5 my brother wasn't even there, but I would sit there with my drawing, and I would lay on my bed and I'd stare at my drawing and stare at my drawing, and then I would close my eyes and the whole scene of what I wanted would play in my mind. And I used to do this quite a bit. You know, if I wanted to live in a certain part of town, I would draw a picture of it, and I would try to visualize my entire life, you know, down to the details. What would the sounds of things be? What would the colors of the houses? How close are the houses? What kind of cars are there? Is it a blue sky? Is it a purple sky? You know, what does it look like where I am? And I would be so specific, and I would fall asleep dreaming about what it is that I wanted. And I would do this probably almost every day of my childhood, and I loved to draw, so I had all this scratch paper laying around, so I was furiously drawing all these things. You know, I would draw what it would be like to be a famous singer someday and singing in front of the crowd, and sometimes I would even act it out with my Barbie dolls. I'd have my Barbie dolls, and you know, I would mimic the sound of the crowd, and you know, I would put myself in the Barbie doll's place, like what would I do if I could do this? And I would try to make it real, so real that it was almost like a memory in my mind, that it wasn't just some made up thing that I put there, that no, this was a memory because it's real. And, let's go to the Viper that I just got. When I was 13, a Viper came rolling into town, didn't know what it was. I don't think most people in town knew what it was. We thought it was a race car or spaceship. And, I asked my mother what it was, and she told me. And I asked if we could get one. She said, of course not, that it was too expensive. And I said, well, then I want to get one. She said that basically that would be impossible unless I married a man who could make that dream come true. That basically my dreams were dependent on someone else. And so a 13-year-old me, with all the complications and all the whatevers I had going on at the time, something in my mind clicked and said, well, I guess that's what I'm gonna have. And so I would do the same thing. I would draw my Dodge Viper, and I would lay on my bed, and even when I was a teenager, and I even did this when I was in high school and even when I was in college, I would still draw pictures, and I would just lay on my bed and close my eyes, and I would imagine what that would be like to drive that car. And even to last year, when I would be doing some cardio at the gym or the elliptical and I'm listening to my music, I wouldn't be closing my eyes while I'm on the elliptical, but I would be so laser focused that whatever was in front of my eyes I couldn't see anymore, because I was now in my imagination world. And in my imagination world, I'm like this badass, just doing, friggin' drifting in my Viper, and I'm doing burnouts, and it's awesome, and there's music playing, and all of this. And I've been doing that since I was 13 years old. But the other kicker with this, though, is that with my manifestation, it isn't just me closing my eyes and making it as real as possible, but I have to physically, in this world, try to take steps to make it happen as well. Instead of, it's not just I have made it a reality in my brain, but what am I doing to help along that reality? So I've always made sure that I worked really hard for whatever I wanted, that I'm always saving money, that I'm never going above what my monthly nut is, that I have, enough for my mortgage, I have enough for my bills, that I have, enough for groceries for the month, and then whatever I have left over, I'm gonna throw it into my savings account. And so I literally every month, for the past few years, I would take from my paycheck a set amount of money and decide that that's no longer my money, and I throw it into my savings account. And I called my savings account the Viper Fund. And before I knew it, I was like, oh, holy crap, I have enough for my dreams. And I even had written out in my phone in the notes section, what I need for my Viper. You need this much money for registration. You're going to need this much money for the loan. You're going to need this much money for this. And so I had a total, and I would stare at that total every single day. And I would look at my savings account and make sure that everything that's going in there is one day going to reach that total, and if I have to cut back on buying tarot decks that month, or cutting back on my spending, or cutting back on maybe buying too many steaks that month at Costco, that we cut back because I want to reach that goal. So I'm gonna do whatever I can to reach that goal. I will make sacrifices, and I will cut back until I reach that goal. So not only am I visualizing and making my dream seem like an actual memory, something is actually happening, something that I can feel on my skin, and I can viscerally feel my heartbeat, for this, as that I'm also taking steps to make it happen. When I wanted to come back down to San Diego, I'm from San Diego, but before San Diego, I was working in Lake Forest, and I wanted to come from Lake Forest to San Diego, but I didn't have enough money because the school I was working at, it was preschool, and I made $19,000 a year, and San Diego's expensive, and I wouldn't have the money for travel, deposit on an apartment, and all of this, and I wanted to come live with my boyfriend. So I would lay in bed and imagine what it would be like living with my boyfriend, because we'd never lived together, and we had been dating for a little bit, but we'd known each other for 6 years. And I was like, oh, this is what it's gonna be like, and this it'll be like living with his cat, Presley, at the time. And and I would imagine it, and then I was like, okay, we're gonna make it happen. So I went and I picked up 2 other jobs. One where it was a job I previously had worked with a friend of mine who owned a bamboo store. So I was working part-time there on the weekends and picking up the other hours at a suit store, which was like clear on the other side of town, like in North Orange County. And so I was working like almost 7 days a week, and I did this for a year. And even though I complained, and even though it was like I felt like I was getting burnout, and I felt like, oh my God, I don't know how much longer I can do this, I had a set date in my mind. By this date, I will have this much money saved because I'm making this much from this job, and this much from this job, and this much from this job, and I am saving. So I sacrificed like all fun because I knew that the payoff would be great. So that's basically my manifestation. You know, I draw things out, I write things out, and I'll do it multiple times, like a lot, you know, of this is how much this is going to be, and this is how much it's going to take. You know, I'll draw the picture, I'll visualize it in my mind, I'll play out all kinds of scenes, you know, before I go to bed, and I'll do it every single night while I'm working my ass off to get what I want. And then eventually what's playing out in my mind is playing out in reality. So hopefully this helps you guys. You know, I am always grateful for the things that I get, and I'm grateful to myself for, you can have gratitude for yourself sometimes, that, you know, I'm grateful that I have the drive to succeed, you know, and yes, sometimes there are failures, and failures suck, but as much as they suck, it's never made me stop. You know, it's made me wallow in my tears for a little while, and then I get right back up again, because I don't accept no, I don't accept failure. So I get right back up again, and I try towards my goal again. And you know, with that determination, I have this house. You know, I have my little garden out there. I got a puma and a panther now. I have a viper, you know, I have, you know, a really good tarot business. I just everything in my life started up here, you know, and then I put it on paper, drawing, wrote it out multiple times a day, every day, until it happened. And so hopefully you guys can maybe use some of this. Maybe you want to draw something. Some of you are really good at like vision boards, and that really helps. And for me, a vision board is great, but it's something that I can only make once. You know, maybe I could try to make a vision board every week, but that's kind of involved. To me, it's easier to just make a sketch every single day or once a week. Write it out, write my dreams, keep rewriting it out, write it out, and then I take physical steps to make it happen, even if it means sacrificing something. So that's when you really got to think, like, is this a dream that I really want to achieve? Because I'm going to have to make a lot of sacrifices for it. And will I be unhappy if I finally receive my dream or achieve my dream, and, you know, sacrificing what I did wasn't worth it? So it really makes you stop and think about what you really want in life. So anyway, I hope you guys dug this, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that notification bell for more videos of psychotic Loki just like this. And I will catch you spiritual homies later. All right, peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.